Today's episode is sponsored by Dragon's Den, Games and Hobbies. You can visit them at 552 Main Street in Honesdale, PA, or call them at 570-647-4633.
The Dragon's Den, where gamers unite. Spice the owner in Honesdale under neon lights. Video games, board games, cards at every site. A haven for all, where fun takes flight. Come join the quest in this gaming paradise, where dragons roam free under endless skies. Adventure always, with every roll of the dice. In Dragon's Den, where the magic never dies. From retro classics to the latest trends, dive into battles with allies and friends. Strategize your moves till the very end. In this realm of games, the fun never ends. Gather round for events galore, a place of joy like never before. Come join the quest in this game paradise, where dragons roam free under endless skies. Adventure awaits with every roll of the dice. In Dragon's Den, where the magic never dies. Unleashing the hive, metal duels will be waging. Join us on the journey, gaming is engaging. NDT Gaming, our mission never raging. From pixels to dice, we discuss it all. The thrill of victory, the bitterest defeats fall. Strategies, campaigns, and characters stand tall. A love for the games, both big and small. Through pixels and cards, our friendship will sprawl. Join us on the journey, gaming is engaging. NDT Gaming, our mission never raging. Malaysian. From pixels to dice, we discuss it all. The thrill of victory, the bitterest defeats fall. Strategies, campaigns, and characters stand tall.
What's going on, and welcome to another fantastic episode of the NDT Gaming Show. It's a happy Friday night. Last night there were a couple of technical difficulties, but I am here alongside our amazing co-host and sponsor, Mike of Dragon's Den Games and Hobbies. What's up, buddy? How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm better. This has been a long week, man. Like I've been sick all week, so I'm finally getting over it. Last night I was actually a little worried about getting on in the first place because my voice sounded like hot garbage, but we're doing better today. Everything's breaking up just in time for a nice snowstorm this weekend. I can't wait.
Yeah, right. Nothing like losing a Saturday to snow. Can I say something great?
Yeah. I love that, man. That
you
brings
remember
me back.
these from Burger King?
Yeah. Yep. I had a few of them. I had like, I don't know. Did I have the whole set? I don't remember. I had quite a few of them. They were cool.
It's amazing how like you kind of reflect back on like things like Pokemon and like what was this like 99 2000 when they started doing this?
Yeah.
It had to have been when they were giving out like the little gold one. There was like a Charizard, a Mewtwo, the Jigglypuff, the Pikachu.
Yeah.
And you had to get like the Burger King value meal to get one, and every kid was like screaming and crying and like I'm gonna, it was nuts, but it was just, it's fun to see one of those. I was going through all the old, like, my backlog of cards, and I saw that in there, and I was like, that's awesome. And then I got, like, the fakest Charizard you've ever saw in your life, and I love this because we were passing this around.
The fakest Charizard. All right, I can kind of see it.
Corey, nothing hits for 510K.
I'm trying to see. Oh, 510K. Okay, now I see that. That was a little reflecty right there. 510K. That's pretty cool. I actually have a Pokemon card with me at my desk that I keep here because for some reason my kid didn't want this card, and I found it pretty cool. So how well you can see this one.
Oh, Charmander, the Team Rocket edition. That's adorable.
I love this one. I love the artwork on this one. I think it's really cool.
Well, then you'll be happy to know one of the next set that they're printing for the trading card game is we are going back to Team Rocket's set.
Are you? See, I don't.
Well,
I didn't like. I don't know that much about the different sets, what everything looks like, how you tell different things apart with these cards. I just, from time to time, when my kids get one that they leave lying around the house because they don't want it or they don't care, they don't take care of it, and I snatch it up because I think it's cool. That's all. That's all I know. I think it's got cool artwork.
Well, recently it's been a pain in the ass to get cards and everything because the scalping market's been ridiculous, and it's finally like I finally got a restock on the wall, like after like Costco had to drop it because of like fist fights and stuff breaking out. You go on YouTube and watch like shorts and everything. People beating the crap out of each other for Pokemon cards. It's been ridiculous.
What's up, my guy Jerry? How are you?
Jerry?
Team Rockets blasting off again.
Yeah, the biggest card in this, one of the biggest cards they showed, which is very neat, is I guess it's a Boss's Orders and Giovanni's like the head card. So I mean, it's kind of neat to see like you haven't seen a Team Rocket set since like the early 2000s, and it's pretty great to see that, you know.
Yeah. So now, before you talk about that a little bit more, because I know you're all fired up about that, I saw you guys post something for your shop that I thought was really cool, and it's another big reason why I want to support you as much as I do, and why I think everybody needs to support small businesses a little bit more. Is you were talking about this with these scalpers and how the market with the cards is going, but you guys down there at Dragon's Den are actually doing something about this. Right? You had an offer for young trainers to come in and do something, I believe.
Well, if you follow the guidelines of becoming a Poke Play Store, you take care of the players, like anything from the junior trainers to the older trainers. Like I don't mark anything above MSRP. Everything is not set at eBay scalper price. Everything is set at MSRP. One of the big things I do for Juniors League, where if your kids are having a hard time getting Pokemon cards, I left resealable bags, basically. They're like little resealable plastic bags over on the table with the book, and kids can fill up a bag if they want of just the old book cards, and they can get some cards since it's like almost impossible to get some right now.
Yeah. Jerry, this shop is located, I hear this address enough, I should remember it. I'm probably going to get the numbers wrong, but 552 Main Street in Honesdale?
Correct.
552 Main Street, Honesdale, PA 18431. You gotta make a day trip up to Honesdale. It's a nice area, nice town. Main Street's great. There's a lot of cool shops, including this one and a few others that are kind of adjacent to his shop that you should visit. There's a boba shop, there's a bakehouse, all kinds of stuff.
Like 5 new restaurants just opened.
Yeah, and there's that new pizza shop that's opening up as well.
So we're excited for that. And I mean, recently we just got restocked. So I mean, for like Juniors League, where people have had a hard time, we got like the pencil tins back in. And a lot of people say, okay, great, pencil tins, whatever. There's 2 packs in every tin. I got the Charizard and the Pikachu one. I've actually had a kid break one of the $60 Charizards out of the tins. It's kind of cool to see that.
Nice. That's dope.
Yeah. Well, best cards are pulled at the den, and that goes to prove it.
Yeah, man. Jerry says, up to Einen. I grew up in Scranton.
Up to Einen, get a copy, leaving a couple 2 treatment and hang on over. Yeah, I speak Valley. I could do it.
Yeah, Mike's over that way, man. My mother, my late mother, God rest her soul, she was a Valley girl. She went to Valley View High School over there, Jerry.
Love it.
Yeah.
But it's been wild to see like that, and that finally Pokemon like was doing something about it, and that's kind of refreshing compared to what like like their new game coming out is going to be on the Switch 2, but Nintendo already said we're going to flood the market with the Switch 2. So scalpers, good luck, because we're making like a metric ton. So it's not going to be
love that about Nintendo.
And I love that. That's what I love about Pokemon, where they saw a problem, they went up and they fixed it.
Yeah.
The new game looks incredible. I can't wait for that to come out. That looks great.
Now, what's the title of the new one?
I believe it's Z to A. I believe is what they're calling it.
That's right. Yeah, I believe you're right.
They've been pretty tight-lipped about what's going on with it, and I'm glad that they have. I want it to be a surprise. But
it's nice. It's nice to turn on a game and not know everything about what you're about to play, to see, to hear, and all that. It's nice to have some surprises while you're playing, man. I can't stand when you know everything ahead of time.
Well, it's like going to a movie and seeing the preview, and like they show you the entire movie in the preview, and it's like, well, why the hell am I going to see the movie when you pretty much just showed me everything but the ending? It's like, okay,
yeah. That's why I'm not a big fan of anime games that are, games that are based off of anime, because all they do is retell the same stories that are in the show. I already know what happens. I don't want to play it. Like the DBZ games. I love Dragon Ball. I'm not going to play the games. I'm not going to pay for these games because they go through the same story over and over again.
I mean, every game. Tell the Cell Saga.
Yeah, it's unreal. I can't do it. I like shock. I like surprise. I like to be excited about something. Have something to look forward to.
Are you excited for the new Jurassic Park game that's coming out?
I got to catch another trailer. I got to look and see if there's anything more than that I saw on the PlayStation Store. But my God, dude, that looks so cool. If they do it right, it's going to be fantastic.
I can definitely see a resurgence in Jurassic Park after the game comes out, because there's like the new movies coming out. It's based off the book more. I guess he took a lot from the books, and then I guess like the new game comes out, looks incredible. I can definitely see like that resurgence hitting again.
Yeah, well, it feels to me. All right, so Jurassic Park has been one of those movie series that the first installment was a trilogy. They went back to it, another trilogy. Now they're circling back and doing it again. And this time, from what it looks like in the new movie, they're visiting a different island, which is kind of like the island of misfits, the rejects, the dinosaurs that were too dangerous for the park. So I'm thinking maybe we get another trilogy out of this, because when you have a cash cow, much like Pokemon does, you just keep milking that until it's dry.
Well, it's dinosaurs.
It's dinosaurs. Who doesn't love dinosaurs?
It's Jurassic Park, which has already been an established franchise since like 93 or whenever the first movie came out.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a favorite movie. Everybody's got a favorite dinosaur that they go to. Apparently, it's supposed to be Site C is what this one might be. And this is the island, like you said, it's the island of misfit toys. It's the dinosaurs that they deem too dangerous to actually put in the park, because if it gets out hot, it would cause the issue. And they tried it with like Site B or whatever had the Spinosaurus in there, because they were trying, like they had like one they put in, like, let's see how one does. And they could barely contain that one. They had like 5 other ones. Now, I mean, if you really want to go full bore nerd with that, this is also one of the sites that had the lagoon, even with the first one. And I believe the plesiosaur was supposed to be shown in the first one.
Yeah.
Because if you look at a Jurassic Park map in the upper corner, there was the lagoon that they kept talking about in this lake, and that was supposed to be where like the plesiosaurus was. That's where they kept a few of like the aquatic dinosaurs, and I was kind of excited to go see that. We never did. I mean, they showed the Mosasaurus in Jurassic World, where he kind of jumped down, he ate the shark and all that. And,
yeah.
But I mean, it would have been cooler to see like other things in there. But whatever, maybe we could see them this time. Who knows?
Yeah. That's another one I got to find another trailer for, because I heard that there's a better trailer out there than the preview that I saw. So, but as far as the game goes, the game looks really cool. It's, for those that don't know, it's Jurassic Park Survival, and it's going to take place after the events of the very first Jurassic Park, the one that happened back in '93. So it's going to be a scientist that was left on the island, didn't make it off, didn't get to a ship, didn't get to a chopper, nothing like that. And she has to make her way across the island to try to get out. So it looks really cool.
Yeah.
I hope they do it right, though, man. I hope they do right by it.
I'm sure they will. The last company that they were working with this game, it looks incredible. It's going to play well. I mean, the company I believe that's making it, they've hit home runs every time they've done it.
Yeah.
And it's definitely that whole, like, she's not some, like, I guess, like, special forces, anything or anything. She's just an average person just trying to get off an island full of dinosaurs and using her best to be like, okay, don't be afraid, don't panic, this and that. And it's kind of cool when she goes into the kitchen and she kind of does the Lex thing with the, like, tapping the spoon on, like, get the raptor's attention so she can run out of there. The cooler door was open where, they shoved the raptor into. She came across the Dilophosaurus, the T-Rex and all that. And allegedly, this is where we're going to see Muldoon as well, because Muldoon survived the raptor attack. If you watch the first movie and all that. Now, a little Easter egg was that he raised those raptors.
Did he really? He
If you-
survived in that first one. He goes
If
clever
you
girl,
read-
and she gets him, but he survives.
If you read the comics and if you read the book, Muldoon survived the raptors because they were more or less just kind of playing with them because he raised them. You know how like in the one movie where I forgot the guy's name. He's got like the clicker. He's got the 3 raptors, and he's sitting there, and he's kind of like Owen. It's like that. He was basically the original Owen, where he was like training them and everything like that. Like he had a respect for them. Owen, like remember like when Blue would come out and he had like the clicky thing, and like he could get pretty close to them without that. But like that was the same with Muldoon. They're cute when they're young, but when they get aggressive, when they get bigger. Now, I mean, who knows if he's going to be in this? I think it'd be cool to kind of chuck him in as he too was trying to help her get off the island kind of thing.
That would be neat. But I think my favorite part about that is because I always love the debates, like not debates, but the scenarios. Why don't we put an average person in the Olympics to see like how incredible these athletes are? It's going to be neat to play as an average person that doesn't have all these abilities. And I think that's going to make it that much scarier too. Like you're trying to outrun these dinosaurs and hide from them. And you don't have like the speed to outrun these things.
But that's like Grant was kind of that same person. Grant wasn't, he was just a 40, 50-year-old paleontologist digging out in the desert. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't superhuman. He wasn't special forces. He wasn't like a Green Beret member. He was just some average guy stuck with Ellie out there and being like, crap, their raptors are out. That's great. This is out there. And,
it's like us walking through the jungle with dinosaurs.
I'm excited. As long as EA doesn't touch it, I'm fine.
Microtransactions everywhere, man.
Oh, did you see their new thing with EA? They got in a little bit of trouble with.
Did they?
Yeah, Steam and them are having kind of beef right now, and it's kind of funny to watch because Steam is very like, here's your game, go play, go have fun, kids. EA wants to do a thing where they want to, like a mobile game or wherever, where it's like, hey, you want to get 50 extra coins, watch this commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to start doing that with video games where it's like, hey, can't beat this level. Watch these 3 ads and we'll skip you the level.
What?
Or you could pay us at like $1.25 and we'll let you skip this level if you can't beat it. And Steam is like, you are not going to start doing that with games. You are not going to turn us into a giant MOBA. Like, no.
That would be ridiculous. I don't all right, man. How does anybody feel any sense of pride or accomplishment doing stuff like that? I couldn't. No matter how much I struggle on a game, I can't do that.
What, you can't catch all 1,000 Pokemon here, pay us $50, you can have the complete Pokedex? Like, what fun is that?
Is that how many there are now, Mike?
I don't know. there's a joke.
I thought you were serious about that because I remember 151, and now there's Pokemon that look like trash cans, trash bags, washing machines. I don't know how many there could be. Are you gonna look it up?
Give me. I don't know. I can't expectedly known.
There is one like called Rubbish or something, right?
You leave Trubbish out of this.
Trubbish.
1,025. That was close.
1,025. Oh my God. Got to catch them all, man. Fill that Pokedex up. You ever watch One Piece? Have you watched One Piece, Mike?
I watched a few episodes when it was back on Adult Swim back in the day and all that.
A few episodes. Okay.
Because
the Pokemon thing is reminding me a lot of the one character in that show and her power. She ate this fruit that allows her to put a piece of her soul into inanimate objects. So she makes like beams come to life. She can make a cloud, a sun come to life. Like all this weird crap. So that's like the power of the Pokemon world. It's like, all right, let me make that trash can over there come to life. Yeah, that's gonna be a Pokemon now.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say I thought you brought up that like One Piece has 1,000+ episodes right now.
Well, yeah.
And I mean, who's got time for that? Nobody.
Dude, it's so fun to binge watch though. Yeah, it's 20 minutes an episode. That ain't bad. Everyone complains about it, but listen, man, this is what I say. If you find an anime or a show that you really enjoy, when that show's over, you're sad. But if you're just starting out with One Piece now, just think you watch a couple episodes a week, you don't have to worry about this awesome show being over. You're all right.
Yeah, but I mean, everything has its limits. Everything has its time. Everything has its run. You know what I mean? They wanted to make Sword Art Online, I think, 100 episodes, and he wanted to do an episode of Floor, or the equivalent of, you know.
I like that one too. I'm big on solo leveling right now. It is getting so good. I even got Alex into it. Got the wife watching with me.
I think it's a great anime for what it is. I think it's pretty incredible that you can have a show go on this long. And I mean, it's wild that a show can either go, 20 episodes or 12 episodes and it's forgotten, or a show can go 1,000 and it's incredible. And I mean, like you brought up before, a lot of them are the like anime based games, or a lot of them are the games that are like, the Sword Art Online come of the game. I think One Piece has a few video games out. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure had a few video games. Sure. There's a whole mess of them that came out during like the span of like PlayStation 1 to like the PlayStation like 4 now, like going on 5. I'm sure there's a Dragon Ball Z game for the 5 out already.
Yep.
But I mean, like Bleach had a few games. A lot of Shonen Jump games tend to end up doing that because I mean, like that's the biggest audience. That's the ones that are showing the much. Naruto, as I probably butchered its name, is one of those things too, where the anime pile of that is everybody has a favorite one. Everybody's got one that they run to, like you said, for your Dragon Ball Z game. And I mean, they sell constantly. I mean, there's obviously an audience for it, or else they wouldn't make them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at horror games. Everybody says that we needed a break from those. I don't think you could. I don't think that that was the case at all. Like I know, as it Badger, is she still doing the Dead by Daylight streams and all that?
Oh yeah, yep.
I mean, Dead by Daylight was one of those games that came out years ago, and it's still got the huge fan base for it. You also have a fan base for a game that comes out that's something like like Resident Evil is coming out with with a hopefully new game pretty soon.
Phasmo is still huge.
Resident Evil's big. I mean, they're going to do another movie saga. They're going to do a few more animated movies. They're making Resident Evil 9 within a year or two. There's talk of them redoing Code Veronica, Resident Evil 0, as we brought up before. I mean, when they say there's like an exhaustion of hero of that, because it's like, oh, well, we're going to get another Silent Hill or this coming out. Who cares? 0 was incredible. Zero wasn't really 0 was incredible. Silent Hill 2 was incredible too. Silent Hill is one of those series too I wish I saw more of.
Yeah.
I mean, when you realize, I love the one Easter egg, it's the stupid dog the whole time. That little Shinyu was the one working the computer, and that was the whole thing for James's hell was his dog. And I think that's funny as hell that they did that, or Alien Abduction, they left that in.
Yeah. Phasmophobia is such a popular game still too. And it's such a silly, simple game, but it's horror based.
Of course it is.
But then I think one of my favorites, I haven't played the second one yet, but I played Outlast. Have you ever seen that one?
I have seen the Outlast series. My wife really likes those.
That is a true horror game, man. You can't do anything. You are literally trying to run. You don't fight. You run. Try to escape.
I've also heard on Rumor Mill and Lucky that we're getting another Fatal Frame.
Fatal Frame. I've heard of that one. I haven't played that one.
Oh, if you want the crap scared out of you, that is the series to do, Corey. If you are looking for one of the best horror games out there, you're these two kids with these cameras and you're taking pictures of ghosts and they like run at the screen from you.
Really?
Show a clip of it sometime. It is terrifying. We used to play that on the PS2 and it was like the scariest game I've ever played in my friggin' life.
Nice.
It was a mess.
I don't know. Outlast, I should play Outlast 2 again. But those kind of games are fun, but they're also hit or miss. I mean, there's a niche for it. There's not that many people that like it, but the people that do like it, they crave more.
Yeah.
I'd love a true horror game. I love those. They're fun.
Thank you. It's been wild though to see like what's been going on in the gaming world, from everything from like even like the new D&D stuff that they've been showing. That's going to be amazing, and I can't wait for that.
There's one game out now that just came out that I've been noticing is talked about a lot. It's all over my timeline on Facebook. It's hi. It's
yes, the doggo. Isn't he a fox or something? I want to say he's a wolf.
No, the game I'm going to talk about is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Oh,
Have you
I
seen
thought
that
about
one?
Ori. The new one is with the I think it's like a fox. I never knew what the hell it was.
It's a fox. What's this one now?
I want to say his name is Ori. It came out like the Wii or like the PS2 like 100 years ago.
Okay.
It was stupid fun. It was a lot of fun. The people had a good time with it.
Yeah. Well, this one is I got the original Kingdom Come Deliverance. I didn't beat the game, but it's similar to Skyrim, but people are talking about this game like crazy right now. Like it's one of the most popular games out there right now. I think the first thing I saw about it was they were kind of boasting about how they were told that this game wasn't going to do anything. They shouldn't waste their money on it. There wasn't a fan base for it. And then they boasted and bragged that they made all their money back in the first day, and they're not doing microtransactions. They're not doing all this extra stuff. It's just you pay for the game and you get the game.
Yeah, and from what I saw from the first game, it was absolutely incredible, and people absolutely loved it. Where it was like, it's not playing like Skyrim or this, or where you go into God mode and you could just kill everything. That they are going to counter your sword hits. The bow and arrow doesn't come with like a little like dot on the screen. You actually have to figure it out.
Yeah,
and it is like I think you do have to like eat and sleep, or if I'm not mistaken, with the game. I could be wrong. I've seen a little bit of it.
It's a lot more realistic than Skyrim.
It's a lot more realistic.
It's more difficult too, but it's fun.
But I think people want kind of that difficult anymore. I think that's kind of what made like Elden Ring and Dark Souls and all that other stuff so much more popular, was the fact that it was that challenge factor of people were just sitting there staring at it and going, okay, I played Skyrim for the 100th billionth time on,
easy to do,
easy walk mode or whatever it is. And it's like, you already know Skyrim. You know Skyrim better than you know your own neighborhood. And then games like this came out that were just like Kingdom Come came out, and it was like incredible that they're blocking your hits. You're sitting there having to like, you can't throw 1,000 swings.
Yeah.
And then you see games like Dark Souls come out where it is that hard factor. Fantasy is not going anywhere. Fantasy is always going to be that genre thing where it's going to be incredible and everybody's going to love it. But the big thing is what's like, is like the challenge factor. The fact that it's going to be that thing where it's like, you are going to die constantly, but you become better every time, or hopefully you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I hope to see more of. I really do.
I've been drawn more towards indie games. Not the big titles, something you can get for cheaper that was made by an independent company. And they seem more fun. Like there's a couple that I want to get. I have them on my list. I can't remember the names of these for the life of me, because they're just games that I found as I was going through the PlayStation store. But like the Renaissance type theme appeals to me. I like that kind of thing. And like there's another one where it's like almost like a world builder where you kind of build your own little village and whatnot, but it's set in Renaissance times. It looks really neat. I wish I could remember the name of this one, but I'll have to bring it to you next week or in 2 weeks whenever we decide to do the next show. But there's a lot of cool ones out, and I just feel like these indie companies, they take more care when they're making their games, because they want to make a fun experience, and it's not about microtransactions to them.
Well, AAA games have unfortunately become the suit and tie guy behind the desk that says they'll buy it. Who cares if it sucks?
They have to have those kind of people at the helm. They really do, don't they?
They do. And it's coming those things where people realize that video games are kind of that $1 billion industry anymore, where it's like, I look at something like Call of Duty and I kind of just sit there and stare blankly into the wind about it. And you go like, who cares if it's half of a game? They'll buy the rest of the transaction. Oh, get these 6 streamers to play it. Everybody else will play it because,
100%.
That's the new kids celebrities now is who's your favorite streamer. It's not who's your favorite celebrity, who's your favorite, movie actor. It's who's your favorite streamer. Yeah. And they'll give it to Markiplier or whoever is going to, do it. And kids go, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. But if you've noticed, a lot of the guys like Septiceye and all those bigger names, they're all playing indie games. They're not playing these like low ends, they're kind of playing the lower end stuff. And it's kind of neat to see something to get a bigger attention than just another Call of Duty, another Assassin's Creed, another one of these, another AAA title that's going to be a third of a game and you'll buy the rest. Especially if EA passes that thing where you pay to skip like ahead of the game because you can't beat it or whatever it is. Here, watch these three. They want to put like commercials in their games halfway through, and it's like, dude, I paid $70 for this game in a time where maybe $70 is a little hard to come by. And you want to put a commercial halfway through this game because of, whatever? Because Mountain Dew gave you $1 million to do an advertisement for Mountain Dew halfway through this game? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Say what you will about retro games, Corey, but at least when you bought the game, you got the whole game.
Yeah, we'll have to do another retro gaming episode too. We'll have to talk about a couple of different titles. We'll pick a few. We'll go over them. We'll talk about them and what made them great. And maybe we could pick a few titles and
grab Aaron.
Some
Aaron's
crappy ones.
Selection.
Yeah, Aaron. Yeah, Aaron. You talk to us about some retro games. I know you know that stuff, right?
Well, that's the stuff that was great. I mean, that's what kind of got us started. Was like, say which one about like Resident Evil 1 when it came out, but at least we got the whole game. And if you want to unlock the minigun and all that stuff, you had to beat the game several times. There was no transactions for like give Capcom $15 you can unlock the gun or anything like that.
Yeah. So, how, speaking of streaming, last night I had my IT issues, my technical issues, and I became, professional IT guy over here and fixed it. I unplugged everything and plugged it all back in, and it ended up working. I ended up streaming last night around 8:00 for the first time in forever. It's been the last time that I streamed a video game was before my baby was born, before Mila was born. I think Alex and I last streamed Apex Legends a week before Mila's birthday. So it's literally been almost 2 years. And I was like, you know what? I'll connect it here on the PS5. I'll go live and see what happens. So I went live. We played Path of Titans and had a lot of fun and ended up getting a couple people in here and made some new friends. So that was a lot of fun. But I changed my name on there too. I changed my name on there too because I've been on Reddit, man. I'm so into this game. I love this dinosaur game. Path of Titans has been so fun. So I got on Reddit and I made my name the Grumpy Saurus.
I can see that.
So I've been on there as that name. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to stream this game, I'm going to put that name on there so that people will recognize it. See if anybody recognizes it.
I think a big thing too is you're going to see a resurgence in like I guess you could say like kind of like those games. Like I could see a lot of my guys got back into Apex.
I know it's super popular, but I get my ass kicked in that game anymore, man.
I kind of want to do Left 4 Dead, or I kind of want to do one of those because they're releasing the Resident Evil skins. And I know I'm anti buy the skin, but I mean, damn you, Capcom, for releasing Jill and Claire into that.
Like the Dead by Daylight one, you mean?
Yeah, the Dead by Daylight, and they're having the Nemesis chase you around, and they're having the Leon and Claire running around with Mr. X and all that.
Well, and they have the triangle head or whatever, that pyramid head, whatever his name is.
Pyramid head from Silent Hill, and you could be, I want to say it could be James and all that stuff.
Yep, they have a Leon Kennedy skin, and
it's amazing. Well, if anybody has any of those old Silent Hill games, they're worth a small fortune, to be honest with you.
Oh, speaking of older games that we were talking about being worth any money, I did find my PlayStation version of the remastered Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy 2 that I have no use for. Is there any value in that game?
Yeah, of course there is.
Okay, because I have zero use for it, and it's collecting dust.
You know what I had come in and it left the same day. I got somebody trading in a PSP collection.
Oh, really?
He's in.
Aaron says he's in for that retro night.
And I kind of miss the handheld world kind of going the way it did of the dinosaur, and like the 3DS was a blast. PSP was fun.
I liked my PSP.
And it's kind of like I sat there and I debated to sell it because it was cool. And I was like, this thing was just so ahead of its time that you could bring it with you and you can play everything with it. And, say what you want about like, oh, the graphics or whatever. Shut up. It was fine and it was beautiful and you could take it with you. And it was that thing you could bring, and it did, streaming of this. And you could hook the Vita or the PSP to stream like PS1 games because it was on the marketplace and it was awesome. Because like you could bring Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, or whatever you wanted with you. You could bring Crash Bandicoot with you and go play wherever you wanted. And it was fun. everybody had a good time with it. It was a, you know, I don't know, like you can have your childhood back. I think that's kind of what everybody wants. Nintendo's been killing it with their huge online store, and that's like all been like retro stuff too. But I mean, call me old fashioned, but I like putting a cartridge in a console and playing that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just the other day, like I said, when the internet crapped out and you couldn't log on, and I was like, well, good thing I could just plug in a game and play. Yeah. I know Sony just got that day where their console went down. And everybody's still trying to figure out what that was all about. Nobody's really said too much about that, but they're like, nothing happened. Don't worry about it. Why do you keep asking questions? And it's like, well, you crashed, dude. And people just want to make sure their accounts don't get stolen.
Bro, I messaged you so fast that day. I was like, dude, listen, this is why I like my hard copies. I hate that everything's going digital. I prefer to have that disc in hand.
But I mean, like I said, it was so weird to see like the PSP, the little circle things that they had. They were awesome. And I mean, the guy had Crash Bandicoot on there, and I sat there and played Crash Bandicoot for like 5 minutes, and I was like, oh damn, I gotta put this down or nothing's gonna get done.
Joe, I bought a PSP just so I could get Crisis Core. Final Fantasy Crisis Core. Just so I can see Zach's story. That's it.
Well, Zach's story is such a fascinating one too, and it's kind of neat to see like Final Fantasy and how much of a, I guess you could say, the player base of like has grown.
Yeah,
and how Final Fantasy is one of those games we've talked about earlier in the year too. It's incredible that a game like that has lived as long as it has such a player base. And now you're finally starting to see like people be like, wow, this game really is cool. And be like, yeah, that's why we played it. Like, you know, Final Fantasy was one of those ones that inspired a lot of people to get into the fantasy genre with Onion Knights and all that stuff, and the magic and the white, you know, was it the white and the black mages and all that stuff. And they were incredible, and everybody had fun with it. It was one of those games that was like, it was almost early D&D for a lot of people getting their stories and all that. And now on my side of the fence, Magic, I think at the end of this year, somewhere time in the summer, is going to do a Magic Final Fantasy crossover. And I don't know where I'm going to fit everybody, to be honest with you. I see it being one of the biggest, if not the biggest, since they dropped Lord of the Rings as a set for a long time. It's going to be nuts to see that. That's going to be crazy. I can't wait.
Is that going to drop in a warm weather month?
Yes, it's going to drop, we think, June or July.
Okay, perfect. Just set up an outside area. Get some, like a table, get some chairs, something outside. Do like an extension. Just keep your door open and do an extension. Just like let extra people come in if you foresee it being that crazy.
Debated it.
Did you really? That's awesome.
I just don't. It's one of those sets where I'm not going to have like, it's going to be packed and crazy, and people are going to be buying a lot of it. There's like so many play mats, and every play mat's got a different character on it, and it's going to be wild. And I think it's going to be crazy. And then the one is like, I just put the banner up that's got Sephiroth and Cloud on it, and I guarantee you the hunt for like Sephiroth and find your favorite Final Fantasy character and go hunt, and that's what it's going to come down to. And it's going to be wild.
Listen, man, I don't play Magic. I don't have Magic cards myself, but your boy might buy some. I might buy some of the Final Fantasy packs. Again, hunting for favorite characters. I got to do it.
Gonna be crazy.
To me, Sephiroth is just one of the best villains ever created. I love him. I think he's such a good character.
Yeah, but he didn't win.
I love his descent into madness.
Well, imagine finding out you're just made because they could. And then being like, yes, my mother is this. And then in reality, he was completely wrong the whole time, and being like, no, that's not true at all.
Yeah. Such a good story in that game, though. I love it. All right, what else do we got on the agenda here? You got anything else that's pressing? Anything else that's really eating at you that we got to get out today?
Eating at me that's really, no, I cover the EA gripe that I've had with the issue of that. Like, I really don't hope they do. I don't know. I really hope they don't go that way, because that's just going to suck for even like the new kids, where it just seems like these kids too just don't care. And they're like, well, it's just the way it is. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be like that. You have the consumer power to stop something.
Yeah. That's true.
The new Final Fantasy RPG is coming out soon, and that's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. That's going to be cool.
New Final Fantasy RPG?
Yeah, like a tabletop RPG, like you've been playing.
Oh, okay.
There's a Final Fantasy one coming out, and I can't wait for that. That's going to be cool.
That's good. Yeah, like I told you, we tried to sit down as a family and start figuring out our D&D characters. We tried to learn some things, and it was tough keeping the interest of the children. So we are going to make our way down to your shop, and we are going to one of these days we'll take up a table and maybe invite some more people to come down and hang out and help us build characters, teach us some rules. Because when you're just looking at a book, I gotta tell you, man, I'm a terrible book learner. I can have all the books in the world, bad at book learning. But if I have people there talking to me, teaching me, I'm gonna be happy. Something to keep the kids interested and to keep them motivated to do it.
You're with D&D, the biggest thing is the DM live, breathe. Your game will live, breathe, and die by your DM.
Mm-hmm.
Your story has to be interesting. People have to be in this. People have to want to play, and like, why should I come there? You know what I mean? If you're
I
not
feel like that part I can be good with. Like if I have a pre-written story, I'm perfectly fine with emoting and doing all that. So that part's cool.
I mean,
it's just learning rules.
I mean, I just kind of got the one D&D group here set up with it, kind of, and it was kind of cool to see kind of like everybody take the story a different way. I have a pre-written story I kind of help the beginning DMs with out here, where I said it's just a quick beginning, middle and end, and how they get to those parts is up to you. Sometimes people need that little extra guideline of just how do I get started? Well, there's several different stories to get started with this. The one open game we have on Wednesday that I do one-shots for, it's kind of just a very simple, you start here, you make your way to the tavern for whatever reason, you insert, plot, and go from there. And kind of it's kind of fascinating where they said, amazing where people will take your story. Right. And you have to just make it to one other town, make it to like a dungeon system, and get out to the end and fight the big baddie. But there's parts where people skip over completely, and they're like, "Can't we just go this way instead?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't see why you can't." It's your job as the DM to make sure this story is actually decent if you want to. It's a DM makes, breaks, and kills his game. I mean, as a god of the game, that's what you are. You are the one in control of everything. And if you're not going to sit there and make sure the game is entertaining, or if you're reading it like a college professor just reads a book, it's something where they said, like, make sure you're comfortable talking to people. Make sure you can do this thing. Nobody wants to play a game where they're just reading from a book and it sounds so monotone. You got to put excitement behind it. If there's no excitement, nobody wants to do it. If it's just you're reading word for word from the book and all that stuff. I mean, maybe that's for some people, not for me. I like a little bit of, God forbid, when they do Curse of Strahd, God forbid it's not the same story over and over and over and over. I always said, I challenge you too, Corey. Like, there's nothing wrong with taking bits and chunks of different things and making it. Maybe you weren't supposed to kill the big baddie at the end. Maybe the big baddie at the end was the good guy and you were the villain the whole time. Maybe there's different things with that.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. Like I've talked to Alex before, and I'm like, man, if I wrote a story, if I used to want to write a book way back when, I used to love writing, used to love doing short stories, poetry, stuff like that. I said, if I ever were to write a novel, like I would love to make something where it's like you've got this hero through this entire story, and then at the end you find out he was actually the bad guy the whole time. Just flip it upside down. I love that kind of stuff. That makes me excited.
That's a lot of what you can do, and that's what makes it fun, and that's what makes it entertaining. That's what makes it so cool. It's your story, it's your world. How you choose to take people through it is, that thing. I say you're going to see a resurgence again with D&D when all those RPGs come out.
Yeah.
When I saw like the Dark Souls has an RPG book, and Final Fantasy is coming out with one, and a lot of these other games. I mean, Dragon's Dogma has one that they're coming out with, and stuff like that, where it is that whole like Dragon Age has one. And that beats the same, Dragon Age is a great game. Dragon Age is incredible, but you already know the story over and over. Skyrim is incredible. Skyrim is huge, but Skyrim has been out for like 15 years now. 11 when we've been playing since 2011. And you already know everything with Rift, and you already beat all the win 1,000 times, and you keep going back. But I feel like people are getting that burnout because they're like, there's nothing else good out there. I said, then make your own. That's the beauty of this game. It is making your own, where you can take this in the Skyrim setting. You can put it in a different. You don't have to stick to just fantasy. You could do sci-fi. You can make it a Fallout setting. There's Fallout D&D books you can do.
Like, I think that's what appeals to me with this, is because it can literally be anything. And I know I've told you this before on one of our episodes, but like you can take whatever world you're familiar with, whatever world you love and you've experienced and you know like the back of your hand, and make your own story from it. Just like you said, Skyrim. Like I know Skyrim almost inside and out. You know, my wife makes fun of me for knowing exactly where every enemy is on the map when I'm walking through. But because you know all of that, you can create something new from it. So I think that's really neat. And I hope that I can inspire my kids and get the best out of their imaginations and make them work their minds.
But everybody is different. Everybody plays differently. Everybody takes something differently. It's you hope to inspire, and I get it where people are like, you know, I've had it before where the kid is just answers when he first starts a campaign. I don't know. What do you want to go? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. Well, you got to know. You got to give me something. You can't just answer I don't know with everything. You got to have some kind of like, do you want to exit the building? I don't. Do you want to just sit here and stare at the wall? Because I'll leave you here to just sit there and stare at the wall while the party goes on. And he's like, I don't. I'm like, don't answer with I don't know. You got to know what you're doing. Are you stare into the void? Does the void stare back?
Man, when you were talking to my kid when we came down there, I'm like, he's had to have experience with this before. The way that you were talking to him, I love it.
Introverts are one of my things.
Yeah, I love it. All right, anything else for tonight before we head out?
Yeah, we can head out.
Okay. All right, so we'll discuss if we want to do it weekly or bi-weekly. I'll let you guys know on the Facebook page for those of you that tune into the gaming shows. But most likely you'll find us back here next week. So just keep an eye out. We might do a little bit earlier on Thursdays, right, Mike? We might try for 6 o'clock.
That's why I would love to do an earlier Thursday.
Okay, so we might try for 6 o'clock on Thursdays from now on. So just pay attention.
We're going to be doing some Twitch stuff pretty soon, too, and some other things on here, like pack breakings, talking about the different cards and stuff like that. So you'll see us other things, too, than just the NDT pod. Like, we'll be other places, too.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll be here. We'll be here at least one night a week doing our pod, here with you guys.
All right. I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us. As always, we hope you have a lovely rest of your evening. Enjoy your weekend. If you're in the area, please stay safe, stay warm. Do not go out if you do not like driving in the snow tomorrow. It's going to be a damn disaster. We have our variety show coming up this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, we will see you guys later.
Today's episode is sponsored by Dragon's Den.